Hey, good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. We are about to listen to Martin O'Neill talking to Talk Sport this morning.
Martin, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning to you. Simon's with me, so too Martin Keane. How does it feel to have won a fourth league title with 20 years gone from the last time you won it?
Yeah, well, naturally, I'm exhilarated. I'm delighted for myself, obviously, delighted for the football club, and delighted for the coaching staff. It's been a big effort. It's great. We've finally chased Hearts down, which was terrific, and really great to win in real in just an exhilarating fashion, which was terrific.
Were you feeling the worst when Lawrence Shanklin put Hearts one up?
I'll tell you, when I thought that I didn't know whether we might create another chance when Iniacho hit the post with about 7 minutes to go, and the ball comes out, and I was wondering whether we could create another sort of clear-cut chance. We had a couple of skirmishes after that could have gone in, a mishit and a really, really fine save by their goalkeeper, and obviously time was running out. But you think that you might, perhaps maybe more hopeful than expecting, maybe that you might be able to conjure one more chance, and that's what we did, and took it.
Simon got into a bit of a back and forth on Twitter with your former striker Chris Sutton. What was all that about, Simon?
Well, listen. I'm as pleased for Martin to have achieved something as he would be as pleased for me if I've achieved something. But my bigger picture was I wanted Hearts to win the league. I mean, Chris Sutton getting involved. I mean, it's like the film Young Frankenstein. You know, I can't work out whether he's the Peter Boyle character, the monster that Martin's created, or he's the Igor character that Marty Feldman deployed. But the fact of the matter was, my observation was the fascination and intrigue and media interest has amplified greatly by the fact that it isn't just Celtic and Rangers that are dominating the SPFL. And the opportunity for another side to win it was something I found intriguing. I think a lot of people found intriguing. My observation was there's nothing new in Celtic winning. I'm delighted for Martin. I'm very fond of Martin. I'm pleased that he's won and gone back and proved his point, as I assumed he might well do. But my motivation was I wanted to see a different winner of the Scottish Premier League. I don't think there's anything wrong with
Chris Sutton suggested you wouldn't say that to Martin directly.
Well, I just did, and Martin knows I would have said it to him.
I mean, I think that you. I think over the weeks you've made that pretty clear, and that's absolutely fine, Tim. And I actually agree with you. I think Hearts has been a magnificent story. I do think that Celtic and Rangers, particularly us, have been, we're winning titles right, left, and centre since the beginning of this new century, and Hearts coming from nowhere, as it were. Tony Bloom deserves an awful lot of credit. He come up, put some money into the football club, and Hearts have been magnificent all season. And I can understand anybody outside Celtic wanting Hearts to win.
And there it is.
Absolutely, I completely understand that.
Martin, I just want to. Sorry, mate. We were working together at the start of the season, and you ran off to go to Celtic. You did anything to get away from working with me in the studio.
And will continue to do so.
That's a bloody good shout, mate.
If that's not motivation enough, I don't know what is. I mean, this has been a fairy tale story, isn't it? Not to give your age away and how long you were out of management, but
right, you're 74.
How you're out of order? How satisfying? Look, forget everyone else. How satisfying is this for you? Just for a moment, just sum it up, because it's been. I mean, the determination that you must have shown to get the best from all these younger people around you. I mean, it's not an easy thing. You might have wanted to go in and it'll been all about you, but you doesn't seem to have appeared to have done that. And you've brought the best out of everyone. And incredible, right to the last minute. It's been the best ever Scottish Premier League that I can remember.
Yeah.
When I went in there first, I met the team for the first time on the morning of the Falkirk game. So.
Oh, we've just lost Martin momentarily. We'll get him back in 1 second. It's interesting that Martin agrees with you that for the neutrals it would have been.
Unbelievable. We'll come back in a minute.
I held a meeting in the morning of the Falkirk game. And of course, half the team had no idea who I was. So, and that doesn't help when you've got a couple of young Japanese lads speaking to each other and saying, "Who is this old man that has just arrived into the dressing room?" And so I thought that that my first spell was a short spell, which was absolutely fine. But to be asked back again just in the first week of January was very, very surreal to me. And for things to happen in the manner in which they did, I get enormous help. I've got some brilliant coaches, and I've had a team that have helped me. In fact, I'm the one that has done the learning in the last 3 or 4 months.
Which was more difficult for you, mate? Was it more difficult for you to go back in at the beginning when you'd been out for some time and you were re-establishing yourself in the minds of young players? Or was it more difficult going back second time round after the catastrophe of the manager that was brought in that couldn't cut it? It was always in my mind that you should have stayed there in the first place. So which was more difficult, going back and people's expectation of you that you were going to save it all, or getting back in the first place and reevaluating football and reigniting people's perspectives on Celtic from the outset in terms of you becoming a manager again?
All right. Well, my main concern first time round was that I wasn't worried about what had happened 20 odd years ago with Celtic, me as manager. I was worried in case I was just too old to do it, and that if I failed, that people would say, "Well, there you are. Listen, he's a dinosaur. He doesn't belong in the modern game." And I think those were my concerns.
Yep.
Having won the matches that we did do, I kind of felt an alleviation as much as anything else. It felt as if, well, that's great. At least I can say that I stood up to that, and I felt pretty good about it. But I knew that was going to be a short spell, because the owner, Dermot Desmond, did say to me, he said, "Listen, you might be in 2 weeks or 2 months." So I knew that 2 months was going to be the maximum, not for 1 minute thinking coming back. So second time coming back in January, knowing that I was there to the end of the season, that presented, to me, a lot of more difficulties for me, in the sense that now I'm no longer a sort of an interim. I'm going to be here right to the end of the season, and that was worrying, because we had dropped a lot of points in that time, and I didn't know the first time round in the short spell that I had, we made up 8 points with a game and a game in hand, which was great. But then when we come back the next time, the games had, obviously there's a lot of games had run their course, and we were behind then, and that was the worry. I was worried in case that we couldn't make it out.
Martin, you mentioned the owner, Dermot Desmond, and I saw he was there, obviously, at Celtic Park at the weekend. So you'll have spoken to him. What's he saying to you? Have you been offered a job full time?
No, I don't think anything would be said. We've got the big Scottish Cup final next Saturday, and I don't think that anything would be discussed then. Nor was I expecting it to. We're in the euphoria of us winning. Last couple of minutes, I had a couple of minutes with him, and absolutely fine. And he was in really good form.
But you must know yourself, Martin. Is this going to be the final game, the cup final against Dunfermline, with you in charge, or are you motivated suitably to carry on thereafter?
Well, if you were asking me, excuse me, if you were asking me today, I genuinely wouldn't have the energy to do it at this moment. At this, I am fairly decent in terms of age. I'm going to see less days than I've seen, and so from that viewpoint. But who knows? I definitely found energy from somewhere. I think that was to do with working with a lot of people, young coaches who were fantastic for me. And there's also, I think, stepping into a training ground each day and seeing a lot of young people. I felt a rejuvenation. I definitely felt some sort of renaissance, really, as much as anything else. And that hasn't left me as from today. I'm tired, but it hasn't left me as from today.
Do you put aside all that, because we had this conversation in the studio, and your bags of energy, and whilst you might be a little bit drained now, you'll replenish your tank, and there's plenty left in you. Do you think you merit the opportunity? Do you think Celtic should be offering you this job? I know it's a difficult question for you to answer, but come on, right. You've gone in there, you've fixed their problems, and you've steadied the ship, and you've won the league for them in a season where it's been a disaster for them.
Do I think that Celtic should offer me?
Do you think you merit it?
Do I feel I've merited? Of course I have.
Did you? I know, but I'm trying to move you. I'm trying to move you from the diplomatic fence-sitting position that you want to take. Did you chase Hearts down, Martin, or did they lose their nerve and blink?
No, I don't think they lost their nerve and blinked at all. Absolutely not. What they've done over there has been fantastic. What the manager has done has been terrific, absolutely terrific. And last night he was voted Manager of the Year, quite rightly so. It was a really great effort. What we have here, I think, sometimes, Simon, in your disparagement of the league, is that we actually have some really, really fine managers, young managers who are very, very good. I'm working with some brilliant coaches who are just terrific, and I do learn an awful lot from it. Now, I understand the reason of this disparagement is because there is really no money in.
Which, by the way, you joined in as well before you went back there.
No, joined in what way?
In terms of making observations about the quality of the teams in the league and the quality of Rangers. So pack your nonsense in.
No, absolutely. I'm saying this, but what has happened? Sometimes when you're working at the coalface, as you often do, make real great judgments from about 14 million miles away. And
I had you next to me to be able to support those judgments before you went back to Celtic. So pack it in. So don't you dare be a hypocrite.
And then I stepped into the coalface and realized that both of us were talking bunkum.
Oh, of course.
Martin, let me get a hold of this because time's getting on. The way it ended, so you guys won it and it was sensational. But the way it ended, Martin, some Celtic fans on the pitch, a debate as to whether or not the referee actually blew the final whistle. There's a suggestion still, no doubt, and in every news bulletin you look, the pictures are there. Celtic fans on the pitch, some of them confronting Hearts players. There is a suggestion that this shows a lack of class in terms of that it's tainted the image in which you won.
I'm sorry, Jim. I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. There, I don't know about.
There's a picture of the Hearts fans
players, and there's a lot of hyperbole about that. Let us find out the real picture. The fact is that when we scored the third goal, the game was essentially over. There were about 8 seconds left, perhaps, in the game, or whatever the case may be. The referee has claimed that he has blown the whistle for the fight. Blowing the final whistle at the end of, and then there's obvious excitement. We have scored to win the league.
Yeah, but they shouldn't come on the pitch, Martin, should they?
We'll start telling that to every single football club, and then we'll all hold it.
But hang on a second, Martin. I mean, Hearts called it an embarrassment to Scottish football. Do you agree that it was?
As they might do. I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I think it's nonsense.
How's it nonsense, Martin, when some fans are up confronting Hearts players?
We've come on. That the final, I assume that the final whistle has gone at exactly the same moment that we put the ball in the net for the third goal, and it's a home game, and we just won the league. And the fans have come onto the field. All right, okay, so they should stay put then.
Have you spoken to Derek McInnes since winning it?
I know we've shaken hands, and I have given him praise of which he has deserved.
At the end of the day, though, Martin, again, and I can't let this go. It seems that in certain quarters within the stadium, all discipline was lost, and some fans it was a free for all.
What do you mean a free for all?
If you fancied going on the pitch, you could go on the pitch. Those who fancied going on went on.
Yeah. Was there not a scene at Ibrox where both sets of fans came onto the pitch?
And we called that out as well, Martin.
Yeah, all right. Well done. Well, I'll tell you what to do. Let me have a look at the picture. Let me have a look as if I was judge and jury of these particular things. But let me see the scenes at the end of the day, and then I'll come back to you. Okay?
That's fair enough. Martin, that's fair enough. What would you say about Hearts' challenge, Martin? Because my God, they took it all the way, didn't they?
I thought it was fantastic, and that is the reason that there was serious interest in the SPL for the last couple of months because of what Hearts were doing.
Nonetheless, sad that they opted to leave the stadium in their kit. Some of the Hearts players in tears as they headed to the bus.
That's their prerogative.
Yeah,
I might have done the same thing.
So how do you feel about the cup final?
I'm looking forward to it immensely.
Can I ask you one last question, which you'll be delighted by? If you'd have had a penalty awarded against you, that was awarded against Motherwell, you'd have gone berserk, wouldn't you?
I probably wouldn't have been happy, but I'll tell you something now. It's a clear-cut penalty in today's rules. In today's rules, it's clear-cut. No one wants to see that. That's for FIFA or UEFA to have a look in the summertime and readjust the rules. It's the rules are ridiculous. The soft penalties been given right, left, and centre. One given in the semi-final of the Champions League, which looked ridiculous. At the end of it all, soft. But by the letter of the law in today's game, that's a penalty because he's handled the ball.
Martin, just before you leave us, to the good Celtic fans, and there are many, many worldwide, what would you say about the support that you got, not just at the weekend, but in general, in your time back?
What has been uplifting for us is that when I went in the first time and even the part of the second time, we had tennis balls thrown onto the pitch in the home game against Stuttgart. There was definitely an erosion of goodwill, for want of better words. Suddenly, everyone has come together. Everyone has come together. There was great unification in that stadium over the last couple of matches. You're talking about the matches in the split, and it has been absolutely fantastic. And that's what I remember Celtic for as much as anything else in my first spell, and I'm talking about going back to the year 2000. That's what I remember, this sort of unification. It is a special place. It really is special. There's no question about it. One of the most special atmospheres in European football, without a doubt. And because of this unification, whether it's temporary or permanent is another thing. But at this minute, that was wonderful, and it was a sight to behold.
Martin, well done. Thank you so much for joining us live. You're a man of your word. You said you'd do it, and you did, and I really appreciate it, Martin.
That was Martin O'Neill. That was Martin O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill with us live on TalkSport this morning.
That was Martin O'Neill, and I think that we all know now that ultimately Martin O'Neill will leave Celtic after the cup final. It was interesting that one of the things that they never actually spoke about in that piece, I mean, it's funny because, well, it wasn't funny because the narrative then changes. They showed the video of the Hearts player grabbing the phone off a Celtic fan's hand, throwing the phone down onto the ground and stepping on it numerous times with his studs. That then made the Celtic fan push the player out the way to get his phone back. All that you've seen over the pictures is the Celtic fan pushing the player, insinuating that the fan assaulted the player first. Whether it be right, whether it be wrong, this is going to go on for days. Celtic need to focus. We have a cup final to play for. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.